Hi, I'm Carolyn Stevenson. I'm the owner and sales director for the Huntsville EVENT Magazine and the Huntsville Business Journal. Our hearts go out to all of those who are suffering during this crisis. We wanted to take action to help individuals and businesses alike in our community in a safe way. The interview series will introduce you to the companies that partner with us and help us to highlight so many nonprofits in our area. Today, I would like to introduce you to Suzanne Conway. She is the owner of Railroad Station Antiques and Gifts. Thank you for joining us today, Suzanne.
Hey, Carolyn. Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you joining us and telling our viewers a little bit more about what you do and how you're dealing with the current situation. So I'm going to start off by asking you really about your business and what you do.
Okay. So the business model is we're set up like a traditional antique mall in that we maintain some of the space of the building for our own merchandise. And we also rent out a large majority of the space to other dealers and vendors. So not just antiques. We also have some people who don't have any old things. We have Shaver's Bookstore. We have a whole lot of small businesses within our building and under our roof that, you know, we take the money for their sales. We take their sales tax and pay it for them. So it's sort of an unusual function. There's not many businesses that operate this way, but anyway, it's a business model that's been around forever, and it allows a lot of people who don't have full time to devote to being whatever it is that they want to do, own a bookstore or, you know, sell their art or whatever it might be, to have someone else staff it. You know, they pay rent and have their business without having to have a whole storefront and staff.
Right. I imagine that would be very helpful for so many people who have products and goods that they would like to sell, but are probably not entirely comfortable opening up a brick and mortar store somewhere where they have to have employees or be there themselves. So that seems like a very helpful solution to a lot of businesses. Like you said, that would probably provide wonderful gifts, wonderful items, but they just aren't entirely able to, probably. They're maybe not able to actually have a store of their own.
Yeah, it's hard. And of course, you know, right now it's even harder, but it's hard to have a standalone small business, retail especially, anymore. You know, the ones who are left are just hanging on, doing the best we all can. But yeah, I mean, gathering together and kind of forming a union is certainly better than trying to do it on your own. And I mentioned Shaver's Books, and John Shaver had a standalone store on Whitesburg for a number of years, and then, you know, got to where he kind of wanted to do a little bit more retiring. And so he moved in with us so that his bookstore and, you know, his services to find rare books or whatever else anybody might want. He has a lot of local and southern writers. Anyway, he can have all of his stuff there. He usually comes in the morning and stays about an hour, but if he wants to leave town, he can. You know, you're not bound to a store like you are when it's just you. And Jane Jones did the same thing. She had her standalone store for years, and she was actually the first vendor that moved into Railroad in 2003 when my parents bought the business in the building.
I was just about to ask you when you started the business. You said that was in 2003?
They bought it in 2003. It's been started in about 1983 by the Mitchell family. And Gowan Mitchell and his son, I can't recall his name right now, who was in Philadelphia and sent a bunch of antiques back, and he imported. And anyway, so he passed away, and you know, I don't think the buying wasn't as passionate for a calling for his dad as it had been for him. And so his dad kept it for a long time, just, you know, in his memory kind of. And then he decided he wanted to sell it. He and my dad were friends. They saw each other on their walks every day. My dad kept telling me, if you ever want to sell it, I'm going to buy it. Because I was living in Kentucky, but I had antique booths up there for years and years. So he just decided that this would be like, you know, the perfect fit for me. This is what I needed to do, even though I was like living in Louisville and had kids in a school rooted in there. I was actually doing
he's
totally
sneaky getting you
back
back to
rather
Huntsville.
than antiques.
Yeah, He was going to get you back home, wasn't he?
Right. So it took 2 years after that. So we came back in 05. So June of 05 is when I started back.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So
it's been a while.
So was it originally called Railroad Station Antiques?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did not know if that was a name change that you all created when you purchased the building, or if that was the existing name.
Yeah, just stayed with it. And just because of the proximity to, the roundhouse, and the roundhouse wasn't there back in the 80s, but the proximity to the depot itself and the railroad tracks and all that. But yeah, it's very confusing. I would never have chosen as a name myself, because every day for the past 15 years, someone has called wanting to buy something that has to do with a railroad.
Oh.
And I don't have anything that has to do with the railroad. So, it's very confusing to people who do Google searches all over the United States and think they found this awesome railroad place that they can.
Do you know that the people
railroad memorabilia, railroad ties. You can't even imagine. There's huge collectors of railroad things.
I imagine.
And I would sell them because obviously there's a demand for it, but I don't ever see them to buy. So it's just, I don't
Right.
It never took off.
That's so funny. Well, given, we are now into May, and I started doing these interviews several weeks ago while we were in the midst of being pretty much a stay-at-home order. And now some of the restrictions have been lifted, whereas I think yesterday and today now restaurants at a 50% capacity can open. Hair salons are able to open. Of course, there's several restrictions to try to keep safety measures in place. You were able to open, I believe, were you able to reopen a week ago? Is that correct?
Yes, it's been a little over a week ago.
Okay.
Yeah, we opened up Friday, a week ago. So it's been 10 days or whatever, 11, 12 days, something like that. So, we just are doing, what the best we can in terms of requesting people to wear masks. We do have them for purchase if people don't have them. There seems to be a lot of people who don't have them.
I bought 2 of your masks, and I love them because I was wearing, I guess it was kind of a paper N95 mask before, and and they're great. Don't get me wrong. I'm going to wear a mask when I'm out, but it was hotter. It was more uncomfortable. It covered more of my face. So it was so nice to have.
Does.
It's so nice to have that cloth mask, especially the warmer it gets. And I like that it goes around my ears as opposed to going around my whole head.
Exactly.
And I have loved them.
Yeah, me too. I'm so glad that she's making them. I just don't know what I would have done otherwise for myself or anybody else out there that's needing them. But anyway, so we would like you to wear masks inside, but some people don't. But the good thing about it is the building is so large, it's very easy to distance. Right. So, it's 24,000 square feet. So staying 6 feet apart, or even if you're conservatively wanting to be further apart, 10 feet apart from someone else is not difficult to do. So if you just wanted to stay totally away and you saw someone on an aisle, you can go a different way and not be exposed to anything. So anyway, we're back to our regular hours though. We just 10 to 5 Monday through Saturday, 1 to 5 on Sunday. And people are out and shopping.
That's good. We've got to get the economy up and going again.
Exactly. It's a balance between wanting to keep everyone safe and wanting to run your business. So,
well, I was wanting to ask you a little bit about, you've explained a little bit about how you've adapted some of the measures that you've had to take in terms of reopening and, asking please for people to wear a mask or to keep a 6-foot distance and to be cautious in that way. But I also know, and I think this is such a great idea, that you and Ron have started doing Facebook Live videos and talking to the community on Facebook and keeping that connection with your shoppers and talking to them about, hey, you can come in and these are some great ideas for Mother's Day or for Father's Day or, different birthday gifts that you can come up with. And people have also the ability from their phone or computer to still see what's going on in the store. Could you tell us a little bit more about how you came up with the idea to do that and basically, are you going to continue doing that? What are some things that you're planning on doing now that we've all kind of had to pivot a little bit with our business?
Exactly. Well, honestly, the reason, or I mean, the impetus for doing it was from one of my friends in Kentucky, and she knew someone who was doing it in a small town she used to live in, and she called me and said, look, if this girl can do it,
right,
you all need to be
you
doing
two can definitely do it.
I hate to say that. Oops, I lost you. But anyway, so originally we were trying to do the Mother's Day gifts and just like specifically showing an item and how much it was. And yes, to stay connected with all of our people, because we see the same people regularly, and of course we see new people too, but this has been a long time that we were not seeing anyone. And so we had the idea, or she gave me the idea about selling the stuff. But then once we did it, we were kind of like, oh, this is fun, because people are sending us comments, and we're not seeing you, but we can see what you're saying. And then people can see things in the background that they're interested in, or ask for something specific that we can get up and walk around. And if you're not ready to get out, and really like shop, if you're really not ready to go to a store, then this is a great way for you to see things. And if you don't want to come in, you can call us and say, give me a candle and a diffuser, or that chair behind you, whatever.
Right.
And, we can put it, do curbside with it, or deliver it, or whatever. And you can leave it outside on your porch till you want to touch it. So it just keeps those options in place that we felt like we had to give during quarantine. And, God forbid we go in again, then we'll just keep on. We're going to keep doing our Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That's what we've been doing at 4:00, the little show.
I love it. I think it's fun. Of course, I think you and Ron have got the perfect personalities for it. To me, it's just, I love watching both of you. I tune in pretty much every time you're on.
Thank you. I see you.
But I enjoy it. It's like, oh, I'm going to see what Ron and Suzanne are doing today. I wonder what they're doing. And
well, it does make you kind of feel like you're in a group when you see everybody.
I feel like I'm with you, and I'm listening to y'all tell us about different things that you're coming up with, whether it's gift ideas. I really enjoyed when you were talking about the restore finish and talking about the different products that you have there, because all of us have a piece of furniture that needs a little TLC.
Exactly. Well, and absolutely. And, that's something that just on a regular basis in the store, customers coming in, like you've been coming in there forever. You've probably never seen those products. They were just kind of on a shelf on their own, and only people who knew about them and had been using them for years. I mean, Railroad carried these products since before I was here. So it's been at least 20 years. And I imagine they probably carried them back in the 80s too, or whenever some of these products are old brands,
Right.
So anyway, we just kind of took it for granted that this is what we use on our furniture. Everybody who comes in, that is interested in fixing something up will ask you, and you direct them towards it. But there's just so many varieties of products and what they do that we have that we've just never really talked about. So we were panning around one day, and someone said, well, what about those products you had back there?
Right.
Talk to us more about those. And so then, he put it restore finish and some different orange oils and things on some pieces, and we're waiting for a huge order to come in, and then he's going to do lots of demos. And me too, I'll do them too. But just because it's something that you don't normally see, you would never see that coming in the shop unless you asked us. We would have to go get a piece of furniture to show you a before and after.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's just sort of an effective way to show a whole lot of people one thing instead of showing it 500 times.
Well, I tell you what, another aspect of that particular live feed was that I didn't know it could be used on leather. And I've got a leather sofa down in my den and 2 cats. And there was one little side that kept getting a little nick where they would jump up and down. And then Ron says, yeah, you could use this on leather. And I'm like, I didn't know you could do that. And you can actually fix those little scratches on a piece of furniture. I was just, I didn't have, I never would have known to do that. And it was so informative for me. And it's like, those little things bug you. They just do. If you've got a piece of furniture and something happens, it bugs the heck out of you. It just does. And
And
so
once you
I
know how
love that.
easy it is, and once you know how easy it is to fix it,
right.
It's so gratifying because you have it done in, 10
As
minutes or
opposed to stripping a piece of furniture, which is such
right.
a labor intensive job. If you can just
Exactly.
use the restore finish and the other products, you can make something look really nice and not have such a job.
Exactly.
We all have enough jobs to do around that.
Exactly. We all need the hacks and the shortcuts,
I need the
right?
shortcuts and the things
Yes,
that are easy, that I don't need to spend a full weekend on a piece of furniture. I can spend 30
exactly.
minutes on it and be done, and then move on to
Totally.
the next job that I have lined up.
Exactly.
Well,
I'm with you.
so since you've been reopened, and I've noticed that, I wanted to check in on your employees, see how they were doing and how they were dealing with everything. They all seem to be great about keeping their mask on, and I see that there were some measures put in place to kind of keep a little bit of a distance, and they
Yes.
seem to be doing well. What can we, as your customers, do to help you out and support you and get you through this tricky time? We're all kind of going through a tricky time, but what can we do for you?
Well, number one, stay safe. So wearing masks is important, and look, if you're on a third floor by yourself and you don't see anyone else around, obviously I have no problem with anyone taking a mask off to breathe for a minute.
Right.
But, if you get in contact with other people, it's just, there's so many compromised people still walking around that it's just not
Right.
worth it to me to,
Right.
potentially infect someone if I don't know I'm sick, which I don't think I'm sick, but, being a
Right.
carrier, carriers don't know they're carriers all the time, and
Mm-hmm.
so that's sort of my reasoning anyways behind wanting people to wear them. Is not to keep myself, I mean, I don't wear it to keep myself safe, I wear them to try to keep other people safe in the event
Right.
that I might be carrying something that I don't know about. But financially, as far as getting through it, if you're comfortable coming out, like I said, we sanitize everything as often as we can. We have hand sanitizer up front. We sanitize your card before and after. Your if you're paying by credit card, we do have the 6-foot distance of from the front counter to where the customer would stand. But basically, if you're comfortable getting out, please come out and shop. We've got tons of sales going on. Every dealer in there needs sales. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
for the month of April, we collected no rent from our renters because they couldn't have sales. However, we
Right.
still have all our overhead to pay for April because the bank doesn't care. You still have to pay
Right.
your
They
mortgage
don't care.
payment and
They
your
need to.
utilities and all those things that we waived for that month. So that already set us back when we were able to reopen in May. But still, the dealers lost a lot of their sales in April. I mean, we only had a couple of days, I think, that we were open. So everybody needs sales. Everyone is anxious to sell products. People are willing to make deals. It's a great time to shop. And if you're not comfortable getting out, then do watch the live feed, or we post pictures every day on Facebook of different items that we have in the shop. Please call and, don't hesitate to ask. We're happy to wrap, to deliver, whatever helps you get through it if you are still homebound or choose to still be. So
Okay.
we just need people to keep shopping. I mean, that's what we all need.
Right.
We depend on our customers, they're our livelihood, and everyone I know is being hit in some way by this,
Mm-hmm.
affected in one way or the other. So it's just in moving forward day to day and doing what we can do to help our community and each other, until we get to the other side.
Exactly. Well, speaking of that, because we do have to be there for one another and support one another, and that has been a good thing coming out of this situation, is that it's so nice when people say, "What can I do for you? Is there anything I can do to
Exactly.
help?"
It
Are there
is.
are there any people that you would like to thank for supporting you through this whole situation? Um,
Well, all of our dealers have been very supportive.
that's right.
And they've had to be flexible because we did not know what was happening day to day. I mean,
Right.
it all happened so fast, and we had obviously no plan in place. And, we just literally kind of shut the doors without any warning. That's
Mm-hmm.
what it came down to. We were just trying to stay open as long as we could. So, they have been very gracious, all the ones that I've talked to, and understanding about what we've had to do, and optimistic going forward, which is very, very helpful. I think, attitude right now is it's half the battle. If you can know there is another side, and if you can hang on. I mean, I know some of the small businesses and restaurants are reaching the very end of the rope, and I understand everyone has the end of the rope. That is true. And if you get there, you get there. But, we just got to keep either getting out or getting on line and supporting each other until we get through it.
That I think has also been a big realization for a lot of people, as instead of necessarily shopping with big corporations, and I'm not saying anything negative about big corporations, but just knowing that your friends in your community have been so deeply impacted, and they don't necessarily have the safety net of a big company.
Exactly.
I'm making sure that whatever I purchase is going to be done locally. I'm supporting all of those here locally. I have to. I want to see everybody get through this. And
exactly.
And so that's just something that I feel the need to do. And I have several people that I know that have said the same thing. And, while we're talking about this, how can our viewers find you? Are there social media pages? And can you give your address, your phone number, and let people know so they can come and shop with you?
So we have a static website if you just need to go get directions or reviews or whatever, that is just there, that tells you the core about the business and its inception and all that. Okay. And that is railroadstationhsv.com.
Okay.
And then more importantly, I would say, is our Facebook, because we do update it daily. So if you send us a Facebook message, we always see it. We don't get messages through the website. Again, like I said, it's just really for basic information. But reach out to us on Facebook through Messenger, or Ron gives his phone number out constantly if anybody wants to call his cell phone number, which a few people have. So, in fact, we were saying this morning, we're really surprised more people haven't. He's offered to bring anybody anything. So you can look at a video if you don't, if you can't remember it. Funny. But his phone number is 256-714-1920. It's easy to remember. So yes, please call us, text us. You can call the shop. It's 256-533-6550. Like I said, someone is keeping regular hours there.
Okay.
And our employees / dealers that are working down there right now for us. I was about to say I didn't want to leave them out in terms of who we appreciate.
Right.
Byron Cook has really stepped up and helped us tremendously, and so have David Gillespie and Ellis Barnard. So between them, they're pretty much keeping it going right now in terms of keeping it staffed every day. So kudos to y'all, and thank you for being there. We all have the desire to make this work. So hopefully collectively we can figure out a way. I mean, it's just one day at a time and one step forward. There's no crystal ball.
I know. But I think we'll get through it.
Absolutely. I have no doubt we will.
Just definitely, I think what you said about having the positive attitude, it's very easy to feel defeated. And well, hello there, Ron. How are you?
Oh, you can see him? I'm looking like I'm waiting to see him in your background.
I know. I was like, wait, where am I? How's it going?
It's good. How are you? She was just giving your cell phone number out to everybody so they can call you.
She is. You always do. She said, have to get in touch with us.
You'll get a lot of phone calls when this all airs.
That's what I was saying. You'd be surprised.
It's weird. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm doing
good.
Tell
Todd hello.
I guess I will. He had to go to a photo shoot today up on the mountain with Steve Babin. So, all right, I'm going to thank you guys. I don't want to get off the Zoom with you yet. I'm going to stop the recording, but thank you so much for doing this interview with me.
Okay, thank you.
Glad I was able to join in.
I'm glad you were too.